From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. Cooler temperatures around Oxford today. It almost feels kind of fallish, Neal. It's right up your alley. It's something. All it's going to do is it's going to give us a great week, and then in August it's just going to punish us like hell. That's what's coming.
I was thinking about that today. I walked outside. Laura's not here. She's in Starkville with Caroline. Not Campbell.
You're getting to that age where you just mix the kids up, don't you? You just go down the list as you get there.
Campbell's leaving for Jackson today. Caroline is in Starkville with Oxford High School, the Chargerettes. They have their camp / competition / whatever. So Laura went to Starkville after work yesterday, and so I got up and watered her plants and stuff. And it was almost not chilly. That's not the right word, but it was cool. And I thought to myself, when it gets hot, it is going to get some kind of hot.
We're just getting a little reprieve in there for a minute. But anyway, let's see. Podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Take advantage of the ribs, the lunch specials, the daiquiris, the Speed Pass Plus app, the mobile rewards program, and more. And Critical is back as the presenting sponsor of the You Gotta Believe football camp. We went to that last year. We talked to Mike Hilton and Dante Moncrief for podcast interviews. They've got a huge lineup of guys this year as well. Lots of NFL players, lots of former Ole Miss players helping with instruction. That's 4 weeks from this weekend in Jackson. So we'll get plenty of information to you there. But just mark it down. Coaches, parents, and whatnot. Good opportunity to for some youth to learn from those people. So that's Oxford Exxon on Highway 6 West. And again, coming from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call the number, and then ask for Corey Clark. Once you get Corey on the phone, and you will within 15 minutes in business hours, tell Corey that what you're looking for, what Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. You can tell it's been one of those days already, and it's just 8. What time is it? 8:14 in the morning.
8:14.
You'll get a quote, and then the rest is up to you. You can take that quote and shop it around, or you can go ahead and get started on your paperwork and get your new Ford. You'll be thrilled with the product. You'll be thrilled with the service. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. He will prove that to you. And all you have to do to get started is make that phone call. The rest he'll take care of it, and you'll be thrilled. Then tell him that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast, and you'll save $500 off the bottom line.
So, I'm trying to think. I was looking at topics this morning, and I had a couple okay, we got through some baseball stuff for next year. We'll do that. But you mentioned to me this morning that it's the 25th anniversary of the OJ Simpson murder. Or I guess technically not OJ Simpson.
Not his murder, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, keeping it real.
Yeah, over the course of the years, we've had a really intriguing conversations about OJ Simpson. We've talked about it a lot. We spent more time on maybe OJ Simpson than we have as much as any off-topic thing that we have discussed over the 8 or 9 years we've been doing this, or whatever it is.
So Kim Goldman,
Ronald Goldman's sister,
has a podcast that's out today. In fact, It's on Wondery and everywhere.
Really good podcast network.
It's getting phenomenal reviews.
What's it about?
It's called Confronting OJ Simpson.
Oh.
And I've heard the open to it. The open to it is basically she says, "Dear Mr. Simpson, I'd like to talk to you." And obviously OJ apparently does not talk to her. But she talks to everyone else involved in the case, including jurors and witnesses that we didn't ever hear from because of different reasons. And I think she talks to Cato Kalin. She talks to Marsha Clark. She talks to Brian Darden.
Really?
Yeah. She talks to a lot of the people involved in it. And 25 years later, talks about how it has impacted her life her father's life. It has gotten rave reviews from Washington Post, New York Times, etc. I'm saving it for Sunday. So Campbell and I are driving to Fayetteville on Sunday, and I sent her the preview thing. I said, would you have any interest in this? And she's like, yeah. And so Campbell's 18. There's no way that an 18-year-old can understand what a touchstone moment in my life, probably your life. I was in my mid-20s when all that went down. I was 24 years old. I finished graduate school. I was in Monroe. I was trying to get a job. I know this is shocking to people, but an undergrad from Ole Miss and a graduate from what was then Northeast Louisiana was not exactly lighting up the job market. And I was bartending, and this happened, and it's something I haven't even told her about. I've said it on this podcast before, so I'm not going to bore people with the story. But it led to one of the craziest nights of my life, one of the only times in my life that I can honestly say for a few minutes I feared for my life.
At that age, I'm interested, but I don't know if we've really talked about this part because, I mean, this is it's 25th anniversary, so you're going to get more docs, you're going to get more stories, you're going to get more podcasts, you get all this stuff. I mean, I don't know if there hasn't been. There's never been another crime in potentially U.S. history from like this that has been commercialized to this point, making money for so many different people. You know,
except for the Goldmans, who are owed $33 million.
Right. I was in 6th grade. So my only 6th, 7th grade, I was like 11 or 12. My only memory I was 11. I wasn't even 11. In 94, I guess.
You didn't know OJ Simpson, the football player.
No. I was 10, 11. I don't know that I knew OJ Simpson, period. I mean, I did, but you know what I mean. Right. So all I remember is when the verdict came down, they turned on all the TVs in the classrooms and they stopped class for it. And yeah, as somebody who wasn't even a teenager, we had no idea. We had no way to conceptualize that on why. It was more for the teachers, frankly, to go, whoa, like, what are we doing here? But that only happened twice the entire time I was in school, that they stopped something to turn televisions on. So that shows you right there.
What was the other time?
9/11.
9/11.
So I was a senior in high school in 9/11. So that's it. And one of them was OJ. And, I mean, I can remember I was I'm almost certain, I don't think I'm going to get this wrong, I was in Miss Webb's math class when this happened, and I remember her like almost gasping when the verdict is read. Like everybody just had this visceral moment of whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And because it took so long, it's jurors sequestered for a year, well, more than a year, whatever it was. And I guess that's my point I'm asking you. How did you kind of focus on the data? You had to live your life, obviously, but I mean, are you updating yourself daily, weekly, monthly? I mean, how did you sort of follow the trial and the whole spectacle?
Oh yeah, so I mean, you talk like events in your life not involving you. I mean, obviously, getting married, the birth of your kids, all that stuff. Events in my life that I remember where I was: Ronald Reagan getting shot, the space shuttle exploding, and then OJ Simpson. I remember the day that they kind of talked about, hey, his ex-wife and a guy were murdered. And he had flown to Chicago and stuff. It was the day that Ryan Sandberg retired. I saw Forrest Gump in the theater that day. I mean, that's kind of the timetable. I've thought about how do I explain to Campbell where she understands the significance of this, and I'm going to answer your question in a minute. I'm trying to think, who would it have to be involving in her generation for it to compare to O.J. Simpson? Because I remember O.J. Simpson, the football player, a little bit. I remember the tail end of his career when he was finishing up and he played in San Francisco for a season, and he was a superstar. And then he went into the movies. I remember the Hertz commercial when he ran through the airport.
Yeah.
The commercial with Arnold Palmer. O.J. Simpson was one of the 3 or 4 most recognizable faces in sports. It was O.J. It was like Sugar Ray Leonard. it was probably Reggie Jackson, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus. Back then, tennis was big. You knew who John McEnroe was, for example. Bjorn Borg. OJ Simpson was a big deal. He was probably a bigger deal than any of those other guys I just named. He might have been the biggest deal other than Muhammad Ali in that range.
I'm not sure there is an equivalent right now.
I mean, I think
we're so scattered, though, where we don't focus on you know what I mean? It's so niche now compared to them.
But I think it's like LeBron.
Yeah, I was thinking Brady, LeBron, that
Tiger
kind of thing.
Woods. This is Tiger Woods being charged with the murder of his ex-wife.
Yeah, instead of fidelity, it's murder.
Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about an affair.
Yeah.
We're talking about murder.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had an everyday life. I started a new job. I was working my ass off, frankly. But this was pre-internet, or the internet was just getting started. I certainly didn't have access to the internet. This was, you turned on CNN every night at 8 o'clock, and you watched CNN, and they had an hour of programming. Larry King Live was on, and he obviously drew ratings, and he stayed on it. Every day. And the trial was up, and so I was working at the Oxford Eagle, and my day started around 7, and I usually had a little break in the middle of the day, and I would watch the trial. And then you could catch up on it at night, and you knew these characters, and you knew these people, and they would get the lawyers to Greta Van Susteren and Roger Cossack. Is that his name? Those cats broke it down every day, and you listened.
It was televised too, right?
Yeah, it was televised.
I remember. I seem like I remember one of my grandparents or somebody like having satellite, and you'd watch like court TV, where all day long they're just showing the.
And CNN showed it all day long.
And talk about like the minutia of just. I mean,
CNN showed it all day long. You didn't know what was going on in the world. You knew what was going on in that courtroom. And then Saturday Night Live would do Lance Ito, and they had fun. I know.
What is that?
Someone's taking a shower, I think.
Really?
You realize how thin the walls are. You realize how just bizarre it is now to think about it, because now everything's on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and everything, and I don't know that you could recreate it today. I don't know that there's something that would.
That might have been the night of the chase. Might be the one day he goes, "Hey, if we could have just had Twitter."
Oh,
Can
God.
you imagine Twitter?
Twitter that night would have been just. I've thought about it before because people have talked about it. I promise I'm not going to do this whole story.
I mean, the beginning of Twitter, Bin Laden was killed. I remember that night on Twitter. But otherwise, we haven't had like that. Everybody's in. Like, here we are.
No.
Let's
Because everything's kind of, in our world, it's all sports.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that don't give a damn about sports. I guess it's a presidential election night, kind of, sort of, but it's different. That's vitriolic both ways.
That's not fascination. That's
right.
Not everybody in together on, hey, we're watching in real time, all millions together.
So I've told this story before. I'm going to tell her this story on Sunday because I want her to know, like, this is like a big deal. It was incredible. I've said it on the podcast before, so I'm not going to bore through the whole thing. My classes in grad school were Monday through Thursday, and my assistantship was Monday through Thursday. So starting at the very beginning of my time in Monroe, Friday was my huge work day at the restaurant. I got there early. I opened. I worked the day shift, and then I did a stock shift between the day shift and the night shift, and I was on call for night, and usually that meant I worked. And so on this Friday, the day of the chase, I got there early, and I'm doing all my stuff. I'm pre-mixing margaritas, and I'm cutting 8 gazillion limes and stocking beer and changing taps and doing all of those things. And you get sweaty, and then you get cleaned up real quick, and you get ready, and you open the restaurant. And the restaurant opens at 11 o'clock, and I'm in the bar, and there's really nobody in there. On this particular Friday, during the day, it was strangely slow. And we had TVs on in the bar. but they've had music on over the TVs. The TVs were just on.
Mm-hmm.
It's 11 o'clock on a Friday morning. There are no sports, except that day there were sports. There was the U.S. Open. It was Arnold Palmer's final round because he wasn't making the cut.
Yeah.
It was the day that the New York Rangers were celebrating
Their ticker tape parade was that day.
the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And that night, there was a huge NBA Finals game between the Knicks and the Rockets.
Game 6, I think.
I think it was Game 6. It was Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing. It was a huge game. That series had been very compelling, and people were into it because people had Bulls fatigue. And here's the Rockets. Here's the Knicks. Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, all that stuff. But anyway, as that day started, the OJ thing around midday started to happen. Hey, this cat was supposed to turn himself in, and he didn't. And now here's Robert Kardashian. Before we knew about Kim Kardashian and Kim Kardashian's ass and all of the things that we now know about the Kardashians, we really didn't know who they were. And here's this guy with the silver streak in his hair reading what certainly sounds like a suicide note. So all of a sudden, people are in the restaurant, and they're like, hey, can we turn the music off and turn the TVs up? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I do it. I go back in the back, and I tell my manager, I'm like, hey, people want to watch this CNN thing. To her credit, I think she foreshadowed this could get bad. She's like, okay, but just be careful. And I'm like, okay, because we all figure, hey, he killed himself. They're going to find his body in a little bit, and this is where the story's going. And then they don't. And then the Bronco chase starts. And that Bronco chase started late afternoon on the West Coast, which means it was, I don't know, 6 o'clock Central.
7.
It's a Friday night on a hot day in Monroe, Louisiana.
So it's starting to pop a little bit. Starting to hop.
People are ready to get a cold beer. They're ready to get a frozen margarita. They're ready to have some chips, some salsa, some queso. People are ready to unwind a little on a Friday. Monroe's kind of a blue-collar town. And the bar fills up. And everybody's watching CNN. Okay, I got every TV on, CNN. And we are glued to the chase. Because OJ's in the damn Bronco. And there's no Twitter. There's nobody reading on their phones. I mean, it's like it's impossible to even imagine for someone Campbell's age what it was like that day. You're glued to the television. CNN is the source of news. Not a source of news.
You said you're not distracted.
You're not also reading about it on the Washington Post on your phone or someone hitting you with an instant. No, you're watching CNN. We got like 5 TVs in there. Well, we get to that point in the night where it's tip-off. And I'm going to be honest with this because it was a clear racial line. Whites, blacks. The whites in the bar wanted to keep the thing. Oh, I did have some people that wanted to watch the end of the golf tournament.
You got Arnold, the whole deal.
And I flipped one of the TVs to the end of the golf tournament. Now, ESPN is breaking into Arnold Palmer with OJ.
Yeah, so you're still getting.
I mean, ESPN's saying, hey, Arnold Palmer's a big deal, but right now he's not the big deal. And so they're showing Arnold in the emotional press conference and stuff.
But there's an eye elsewhere.
But that had created a mistake. I had created an error at that point because there were people there who knew that I had flipped it to golf, who said, flip it to basketball. And they wanted them all flipped to basketball, which, if I remember correctly, was on NBC. So I go back in the back, and I'm like, hey, I got to flip a couple of TVs. We got a problem. And it was also a busy night in the restaurant. Lots of people were there to eat. The restaurant's busy. The manager has more to worry about than my TVs in the bar. And she's like, just do what you got to do. So I flipped 2 of them to the basketball game. But I keep the audio on CNN because that's what people want to listen to. So Knicks, Rockets tip off, up and down, playing some hoops. And as the first half of that game unfolds, OJ's chase is winding down. And there's the standoff in the driveway where we all think he's going to get killed. We all think he's going to blow his brains out. And all of that stuff's going on. And as that's going on, people are getting angry at me. They want it turned off. They don't want it on when he kills himself. They want basketball on. And it was the only night that I ever went back in the back. And she goes, "What do you want?" I said, "I want police. I want police. We're slammed. People are angry. And I don't know what's going on." And, you know, we'd had incidents before where people came in there and it was pretty shady, and you're like, "Oh God!" But this was that crazy night. What I remember about that night the most, more than anything else, was I got back to my apartment. It had to have been 12:30, 1 in the morning. Wired, as you can imagine, needing to crash, but just wired. And I took a shower and popped open a couple of beers and turned to CNN, and you're just getting more and more about what's going to happen. And yeah, from that moment forward for the next, year and a half, it was the story.
It was the next October, I believe, November, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember now, but that day, everything about that day and then the ensuing days, and you couldn't read enough about it. You couldn't, but you didn't have access to all the big papers. You had access to CNN. It was, for CNN, man, it was a godsend. It's the reason we have Court TV today.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy in Oxford. Delivered local to your home or workplace. They're right there on South Lamar. They take care of all your pharmaceutical needs. 662-236-2222 is the phone number to transfer, to find out more about CBD. You know that it is an all-natural product. Help maintain overall health and help regulate many conditions such as depression, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and more. It's regulated by the FDA, which ensures product consistency, purity, and potency. That may not be true with all the other brands that can be ordered online, but it is at G&M. So again, South Lamar in Oxford, 662-236-2222.
Hard to believe, but the 2019 youth soccer season is just around the corner. Registration has started for the 2019 fall season in the Oxford Park Commission and will continue through July the 7th. Leagues are open for birth years 2015 down to 2004. This year's season opener will be August the 19th. The cost to take part is just $50 per game. All the games are played on the beautiful fields at FNC Park. So visit OPC at oxfordparkcommission.com for more details. As someone who has kids who are alums of that program, I can't recommend it enough. And my computer is attempting to die, but here we go. The podcast also brought to you by 7 South Tailgating. 7 South has recently been coined the best tailgating service in Oxford, receiving unanimous votes across multiple polls. And there's a reason for this. Although there are dozens of service providers to choose from, 7 South is different. Kyle Thornton and his team work directly with each individual customer to customize their service to each group's specific needs and requests. With more than a decade of experience in the Grove, the 7 South team is there when you need them. As one customer recently said, "I've bounced around to several service providers over the years and finally came across 7 South. If you use 7 South once, you'll never tailgate without them again." Get in touch with them at 662-321-1682 or visit 7southtailgating.com. Podcast also brought to you by Scoopers Pet Waste Removal. They are the sponsor of the Crap Take of the Day. Everyone loves their pets, but no one loves stepping in their pet souvenirs, if you will. Tracking those souvenirs into your house is a nightmare. Scoopers will go into your backyard, your apartment complex, or your condominium and pick up what no one really wants to pick up. For $10 a cleaning, Scoopers will clean up your yard. They'll do it on your schedule, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or a one-time service. No contracts are required. You can cancel at any time. If you have multiple dogs, it's just $2 for each additional dog. So if you own a home, a condo, or an apartment complex in Oxford and you'd like to deal with a lot less crap, call Scoopers, 662-506-2754, or send them an email, scoopers.oxfordpetwaste@gmail.com, to get your cleanings scheduled today.
So,
By the way, the crap take of the day is very quick.
Okay.
The people out there who are trying to say that Kevin Durant's Achilles tear was not related to the previous injury, you are either insane
Someone says that?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
There've been people that I respect who are like, is it possible that it was just bad luck? No. No, it's not possible.
No.
Not even a little bit possible. Like on the realm of possibility, with 1 being, yeah, maybe, and 10 being, oh, absolutely, it's like a negative 700. It was absolutely related. He shouldn't have been playing.
Saw the New York Post where the Knicks are talking about just completely getting away from him and going, just building around young guys and letting it be what it is.
Yeah, what do you do?
We mentioned this a little bit yesterday. I mean, as a GM, I couldn't do it. No. I mean, I can't give a max deal to a guy who may never even be close to the same.
It's a total rupture of the Achilles.
If somebody else takes that gamble and it hits, okay, congratulations.
Yeah, it's a total rupture of the Achilles.
Yeah, no.
The only player who has ever come back from it
It's Dominique Wilkins.
Dominique Wilkins. So it's possible. But there are other players. Wesley Matthews was an all-star caliber guard when he snapped his. He was never the same again. Kobe Bryant snapped his at 34. When he tried to come back, he blew his knee out. Kobe Bryant's one of the 5 best players to ever play the game in the modern generation. And a freak of an athlete with freakish work ethic. And it didn't work. Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a general manager out there going, what do I do? What do I do? Do I give him a 4-year max deal, knowing that year 1 is a complete waste, and I don't know what I'm going to get after that? I can't do it. If I'm Kevin Durant, I opt in to the last year of my deal. Golden State pays me $31 million next year to rehab. And then I hope that I come back. I guess. I mean, if someone offers him a max deal right now, he should take it for the security.
Of course.
If I'm Kevin Durant, I'm finally to a point where I want to fire everyone around me who has given me so many years of bad advice. If you go back and think about, we won't stay on this long because people get mad when we do NBA long. If you think about what his brand was the day that he won the MVP award, and he gave the speech about you, the real MVP, to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Kevin Durant's brand that day.
Never higher.
His brand was a top 10 brand in the world. Since then, he's won 2 NBA titles. He's been the Finals MVP twice. His team is 2 wins away from another title. And his brand is 30th in the NBA.
Seen as, frankly, he's seen as odd and strange. Seen as a bit of a baby.
Yeah. A whiner.
Yeah, and a sellout.
Yeah.
Look, the super team thing's all well, but you better know how to navigate that son of a gun from a PR standpoint.
Again, I go back to who advises these people. Kobe never did that. Speaking of Kobe, Kobe's brand was always, I'm the Mamba. I'm a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
I'm a badass. People hate me, but people love to hate me, and the people who love me, and I won a title with Pau Gasol. I took Derek Fisher and Ron Artest to titles. I'm a badass. That brand sells to this day.
What are your top 5 NBA brands?
LeBron. Current brands?
Yeah, today. Not all time. Forget that.
LeBron. Steph, for sure. Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
Because Russell Westbrook has a very consistent brand. Steph has a very consistent brand. Who am I missing?
Yeah, where do you go here? Is it Giannis yet?
It's probably starting to be Giannis. Kids like him a lot. And then Zion Williamson.
Really?
Yeah, Zion in front of, and actually Zion.
You go Zion over.
I go LeBron, Steph, Zion, Harden, Westbrook.
Okay. Just curious.
And then I would go Giannis. I'd go Paul George. I would go a lot of people before I got to Kevin Durant.
Paul George?
Absolutely.
Really?
From a brand, yeah.
Yeah.
People don't like Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Kevin Durant, the day that he gave the speech, there was only one person in the NBA bigger than him, and everyone was cheering for him. If Kevin Durant had done the smart thing, which was do the 1-year opt thing with Oklahoma City, that was the smart thing. They were going to win a title, and then he could have gone anywhere he wanted to go. And he would have been beloved. They should have said to him, his people should have said to him, and I know everybody goes, well, you're a Thunder guy. I get it. I realize that makes my view tainted. But the smart thing from a brand standpoint would have been like, hey, man, you just got really close. Now, go in, tell them you want to do a 2-year deal with the 1-year opt-out, and you're the damn general manager of this bitch. Tell them what you want. They're going to give you everything. They're getting ready they traded Ibaka. They're going to get Oladipo. They're going to sign Horford. They're about to put a team on the floor. Tell them you want them to re-sign Deion Waiters. They will. And you want to put a team on the floor that's going to knock off the Warriors, beat LeBron in the finals, and then you'll figure out what you do from there, and you're going to be the guy that, hey, man, we just came back and we got it done. Everybody would have absolutely jumped on that rivalry. And everyone would have been cheering. Everyone not a Warriors fan would have been cheering for Kevin Durant. And instead, he goes and joins the Warriors, and he's a sellout. And then the other night, they come back and they win that game without him. It always feeds that they don't need him narrative. I know what Klay Thompson says, it's ludicrous, and he's right. It's ludicrous, except you cats keep winning without him.
Now, it took 20 of 42 from 3, but yeah, still got it done.
It took, yeah. I think, like I told you, I think Carson had PTSD that night.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom,
but
boom,
it took that, and I think they're going to lose Game 6, and it's going to end. But the Kevin Durant brand, and here's the question: in today's media market, he's going to go away next year. When you go away, do you get to come back?
Today's world.
Yeah. Because he's going to go away, and Zion's going to be there. Ja Morant's going to be there. Giannis is going to be a year older. Kawhi's going to be someplace, maybe as a defending champ in Toronto. Klay Thompson might be at a new place. Steph's going to be the dog on his team. There's going to be a lot going on in the NBA next year, and Kevin Durant's not going to be a part of it.
A couple baseball things that did pop up yesterday. Gray Kessinger wins the Brooks Robinson Award, named the top shortstop in college baseball, as he has obviously concluded his career. He was taken 68th overall by the Astros. So, I wrote about this a few weeks ago. Real congratulations to him, because he picked a tough spot. Could have easily gone somewhere else. Could have gotten out of the spotlight. Could have stayed away from the name on the jersey being a red and blue one. And he didn't. He could have gone to Vanderbilt. Could have gone to a lot of places. And came here and really made his own legacy. It's something that wilts a lot of people. It's a different level of pressure when your grandparents are shown in the stands on ESPN every game, when your dad and your uncle have played there, when played successfully there. Frankly, your uncle's on the call every night from a radio standpoint. It's just a lot of stuff, and he took that head on. He handled that as well as one person can handle that. So I think as this thing wraps up, and him having the year he had, he led the SEC in hits, had a shot there from an average slugging on base percentage, frankly, at the Triple Crown until J.J. Bleday went crazy. Just pretty pleased for him on how that turned out, because that could have gone a lot of different ways. You see a lot of those situations where they don't work, and this one, other than obviously not ending up in Omaha, from an individual standpoint, it went about as well as it could. So,
oh, absolutely. There's a ton of pressure on him. Frankly, it would have been a lot easier for him to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
just go do your own thing.
Just get out of it.
Of course, would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
And he comes to Ole Miss, and just early in the season, people. I'm not making fun of any fans, because fans are fans, and
he started off slow. He wasn't very good
slow,
early.
and people said the only reason he's playing is because of his last name.
Yeah,
that's crazy. He wouldn't have had that at Missouri. He's been the shortstop. He's off to a slow start.
Yeah,
he's a hell of a player. Carson asked me about him the other day. I think I'll ask you. You've seen him a whole lot more than I have. I think he's a major leaguer. Maybe not as in every.
I'm curious if he gets any bigger or gains weight. I don't think he needs to really get crazy now. We need to stay where we're at size-wise.
Because he might have to move to third.
And let's not do that. Because he is good enough defensively, and there's a whole hitting difference at third and short, obviously.
Yeah, you want your third baseman to hit the ball over the fence.
Yeah.
Although in today's baseball, you want your shortstop to hit the ball over the fence.
You want everybody to hit the ball over the fence, right?
It's unbelievable.
No, I think, look, if you told me Gray and Cooper moved through and got up, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I think those are the two most likely ones. I know that analytically people love Dillard. They're going to give him every opportunity, and if the bat plays, he has a chance to play somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know how. I'm just saying he'd have a chance. Etheridge does not profile much for me right now at that level.
No.
From a relief standpoint, I think Roth could move through the system a little bit. He's got some velo. He has a very, very durable arm.
He really spins it, right?
Yeah, the breaking ball's good.
Yeah.
Maybe. Wouldn't be shocked there. So we'll see. Zabowski would have to really hit, and I mean really hit.
Yeah,
just kill it.
I hope I'm wrong. I cheer for all of them, but
one thing we don't know with Gray, other than high school, which doesn't count at this point. We haven't seen him with a wood bat. He played 6 innings of Cape League in 2 years because he got hurt twice.
Yeah.
So we haven't even seen him with a wood bat at all since travel ball.
And that might have been what knocked him into the second round. And maybe
because he everybody says playing ping pong, but he had a Jones fracture in his foot after his freshman year and missed that season. And then he had the collision in the 6th inning of his first game after his sophomore year and broke his thumbs and nose and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, he broke both thumbs.
Yeah, broke both thumbs.
You got to think if he can get healthy and stay healthy for a while and build some strength. Hard to lift a lot of weights with two broken thumbs.
This season's the only time his whole career he's been healthy for the whole stretch. No,
got to think he'll build some power.
And then Zach Phillips announced yesterday he is leaving. He was drafted, 20th round, something like that. I don't have it in front of me. Not surprising. JUCO transfer.
Now, he's not playing Major League Baseball, right? He went to an organization that plays in a different kind of a league. The one in St. Louis.
Was that who took him? Was that what it was?
I think that's right.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Zach's he's left-handed and breathing, so they have chances.
Was he drafted by the Cardinals?
I really don't know.
I really don't know either.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not aware. Really nice guy. I kind of wanted him to do better than he did simply because he was a really good interview. Kind of wanted to talk to him often, and he was very helpful in the midweek there late. I think he had a little bit of a mature – he didn't have a maturity problem, I'm sorry. He matured into his role well, I think. Once Luke – you start the year as a weekend starter, and then you get pulled out of that role, that'll hit you a little bit. And I thought he handled that very gracefully. Sorry, that's what I'm more trying to say.
Someone asked me this. I think it's a fair question.
Yep.
Once he got healthy, should Houston Roth have been a weekend starter? I know that he separated his shoulder on day 1 of practice, and that messed him up.
Yeah.
But once it was obvious that he was healthy, should he have been a weekend starter instead of
This is a
Hoagland?
little cloudy simply because Hoagland did get kind of hot late in the year, and that was his best run too.
Yeah.
But, yes, he as of this moment, Houston was a better pitcher than Gunnar. This moment.
What would have been interesting, and this is not fair, second guessing.
Yeah.
If on Sunday, instead of going to Roth,
Had gone to Hoagland.
had gone to Miller.
Or Miller, okay, yeah.
And now look, Miller got shelled. But let's play along here. Had Miller been able to do on Sunday what Roth did on Sunday, I think Roth would have had a much better chance of handling Monday than Hoagland did.
All the way around. Just mentally, just
across
period.
the board.
Yeah. Because that's why I thought Houston could be the Friday night guy if he came back, was that he's just really tough mentally. I mean, he's not shaken by some things. And
4 freshmen threw in that super regional. Only one of them handled it.
Yeah. Wicklander, Hoagland, and Nolan all struggled.
And and Nolan had some good games for Arkansas this season.
Yeah.
And Wicklander
he looked lost.
He looked overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And he's a football kid. I mean, it was a big moment. People go, well, that crowd. I'm like, stop. It was loud there. It was impactful. The stakes were high, and people knew it. And both of the kids on Sunday were overwhelmed by the moment.
Yeah.
Nervous.
Yeah. Nikhazy's the only one that was like, okay, fine.
Yeah, and I don't know that anything. He's wired differently.
Yeah.
And benefits from it greatly.
He does benefit from it greatly. We'll continue to talk about him in a second. First, about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing, and the float-down option, which allows you to lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys, an anniversary trip, a late honeymoon, whatever the case may be, going to Florida, the Caribbean, Scotland, again, whatever, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll give you some options. You don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's a podcast that's also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, that's the place to go. It's just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. If they don't have it, they'll get it in quickly. I've gone that route before as well. So get in touch with Gene and Sandy. Tell them that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast or at rebelgrove.com. You get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX realty agent. He is a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new 9-acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square, conveniently located off east of North Lamar. Savannah Square is just a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center, all of the restaurants and establishments that are right there. It initially consists of 32 standalone detached structures ranging in size from 1,100 square feet to 2,400 square feet. The model home is available for you to look at 215 William Street. I've been to the model. You can check it out. They have all sorts of different layouts you can look at there, different finishes that you can look at there. So get in touch with Harry at 662-801-5621 or check out the site, SavannahSquareOxford.com. I'm going to have my mailbag later this week. It's not going to be today. I'm putting 10 thoughts up today. Mailbag will run later in the week. It's brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Great place to stay. It's Marriott property. You can visit Soul Spots, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. You can also gather at Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships. So gather at Estelle in the Westin Jackson tonight.
Just because this popped up and because, I don't know, it's sitting in front of me, I will tell you, Texas Tech, Michigan's 2 o'clock on Saturday. Arkansas, Florida State, 7 o'clock on Saturday. And then Vanderbilt, Louisville, 2 p.m. Sunday. And Mississippi State, Auburn, 7:30 on Sunday. So those are your times for the College World Series, the opening weekend.
We get an NHL Game 7 tonight. Get a Stanley Cup Game 7 tonight.
It was interesting. I didn't realize. I don't know how close it is. Maybe you can answer this question because my geography in that area of the country is not great. I'll be honest. We were at dinner at a sports bar in Fayetteville one of the nights. I guess whatever night Game 6 was. So that was Sunday night, and it was basically a Blues bar. I mean, like the Blues scored, and I was like, holy shit! Like it was like the siren going off inside the bar, and all these St. Louis people and all this stuff, and I was like, whoa! Like it was the whole place pretty much. There was one mass hole in the middle of the crowd that was heckling everybody, but otherwise it was pretty much all St. Louis.
Yeah, there's a lot of Cardinal fans there too. I've told Campbell, don't do it.
There's one rule, okay?
I told her, I said, we don't have a lot of rules, but that's one.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, don't come home with Cardinal stuff and then expect me to continue to pay for college.
That's who you know the boyfriend's going to be, is some like die-hard Cardinals fan.
It won't go well.
Hey, let's all watch the game together. Okay, good.
No.
Carson might not be accepting at all.
I can tell you right now, he'd be like, dude.
He would be questioning sanity at that point,
Yeah.
I think. Like,
I think he would say to her, have you lost your mind?
Yeah, the one guy that didn't hedge the bet, he has a chance to win tonight. He, the gambler,
He does.
had a chance to win the other night too at home and didn't do it. That would have been the one that hurt.
Be a tough one.
$400 bet to win $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care.
Hedge.
Yeah. I care nothing about the Bruins. I care nothing about the Blues. But there's something about a Stanley Cup final Game 7 that I'm like, ooh, I'm watching that.
Well, in person, the best playoff sport there is. In person.
Oh, yeah. No question. Is hockey.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
That place tonight.
Oh, I would love to go there tonight.
I'm not sure there'd be a more cool event than Game 7 NHL home team wins.
Yeah, and if you went tonight, I mean, listen, if you go into that place tonight wearing blue stuff, God bless you. You are a fan, and I hope it works out. Be careful. Mind your business.
So if you got tickets, you're the visitor, you wouldn't wear the sweater of the team you
I mean, am I a fan? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm going to do it. But now,
oh, you are going to do it. Okay.
But if it's just me today, I'm showing up, and I'm probably going to get me a Bruins cap or something, and just I don't want to get punched.
I'm going to win in Rome this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably going to get me a Bruins cap and and then I'm watching for the drama.
Yeah.
That'd be, I mean, in all seriousness, people say, you know what would, because we cover so many games and go to so many games that going to a game to us is like, whatever, it's another game. It just is. It's, if you're a dentist, it's just another.
At some point, you're looking at a mouth.
It's another mouth. It's a football game. We've seen a lot of football games. It's another football game. This, I would actually be super excited about this tonight. I would even be more excited than I was like when I went to see the Cubs because I was cheering for the Cubs. I don't care who wins tonight. I mean, I'm not losing 1 second of sleep based on the outcome of this game.
I cover baseball, so I see even more than you do, and I think it's something that's sort of outdated anyway. I can't tell you the last time I actually had any conscious thought when I heard a national anthem. And I know it's terrible to say, but it's true. I talk about the thing because you hear so many national anthems over the course of the year of you just sort of get up and do the exact same thing every time and you wait and you either in your head you're going, okay, is this a short one or a long one? What do you think the over-under is? Because you got to talk about something and it's like, okay, sit back down, go with it. National anthems at this point have started to be just this thing for me.
Yeah, I've had people get mad at me. What did you think about the Kaepernick thing? And it's like, I really didn't think anything about it because I'm so immune to the national anthem.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you're robotic at this point. You get up, wait 2 minutes ish, and sit back down. Okay, play ball. I don't know. Do you think we're doing national anthems in 20 years?
No.
You not?
No.
Who stops it first?
NBA would be a strong candidate. The NFL would be smart to do it.
Major League Baseball is the last to stop.
Yeah, they're traditionalist. It wouldn't bother me. I don't really care. I mean, I know there are people out there that say, by God, you do that, I'm done. I'll be honest, I understand that, but I'm not going to die on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they continue to play it, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I stand for it, whatever, but I understand the people that say it really doesn't belong at every sporting event. I get it. Like, I don't understand every time you play like a high school softball game somewhere, you got to play some recording of the anthem first.
At least play the recording, like the instrumental version that's real fast. Just
yeah.
It's the high school or the college game where the person doing the anthem, nobody has any idea who they are. They'll never be seen again, and they try to make the anthem their own. It's like, okay, whoa. Yeah. Just get us through this, okay?
Yeah, that's not why.
Let's honor America and let's move on with our day.
That's not why you're here.
Yeah. It's like that poor dude. It's been years ago. The Ole Miss Miami Ohio game baseball. I think it was Miami Ohio, I'm pretty sure because I'm weird. It's a weekend. It's like a Friday night, and he forgets the words like 7 times. He has to stop and start all the way back over multiple times. It's like, okay, let's just move on. Like, yay! Okay, it's like, can the crowd just sing it for him? What can we do? Because I think he had like written on his hand, and he like gets nervous and stops, and it was bad. I will say that's probably the first time you do it, a very nervous moment for a singer, though. You're in that kind of crowd, like,
and it's hard song.
It's not an easy song,
right? It's not the best song.
That's why just nuts and bolts it.
Yeah.
Hey, this is how this is supposed to be sung. Sing it that way.
Sing it vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, don't.
You're not Kelly Clarkson. Don't pretend.
Don't be Whitney Houston, and you are not the same human.
No.
Okay? You're not going to get Super Bowl 25 out of this, okay?
Boy, she crushed it.
It's maybe the most famous anthem of all time.
Yeah, probably so.
Bill's Giants during the Iraqi War.
And she was so gifted.
Yeah, I mean,
you listen to her voice like when she was in her prime.
I mean, on the internet, they've got multiple songs where you can listen to just her isolated vocals, and you go, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Before all the drugs and everything took their toll.
No instruments, just boom.
Yeah, she was gifted.
Yeah. Podcast also brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape. Did you know they offer a lot more, though, than just premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi? Everything from custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces, paver patios, and more. The path to your dream backyard, easier than you think. You visit them online at gomastercuts.com for a free quote, or you get that same free quote at 662-607-7773.
Oxford University Bank will be hosting the 6th annual OUB two-person scramble June 29 through 30 at the Ole Miss Golf Course. Entry into the tournament is $225 per player. This includes 2 days of golf, cart, lunch both days, breakfast both days, beverages on the course, and a Calcutta dinner where each golfer gets a +1 to the dinner. OUB usually has around $40,000 in the Calcutta. The tournament usually pays out 8 flights at a rate of 3-2-1. This year, all of the proceeds from the tournament will benefit the Sherry Buford Memorial Scholarship. Sherry was an educator here in Oxford before her life was tragically taken from her by a drunk driver in 2018. The scholarship will benefit a graduating senior from both OHS and Lafayette each year. Over the past 5 years, OUB has raised just more than $150,000 through this golf tournament, and they look forward to continuing the great event with your support. To register, please go to oubgolftournament.com, or you can also purchase a whole sponsorship for $100 at that website. Any questions can be sent to Gant Boone, GANTBOONE, at OUBOL.com, or by calling the bank at 662-234-6668. Podcast is also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi. It represents clients in 24 states, has advisors in 3 states. It was founded in 1997. Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. Cookie-cutter financial planners put you in a box. PinTrust builds a box just for you. To learn more about PinTrust, go to pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. And don't forget, you don't want to miss 1 minute of the action at the Vault this season as Ole Miss football arrives this September. Reserve your season tickets with the new 2019 season ticket pricing for just $299. For more information, visit OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com.
See where the internet's all ablaze and mad because the U.S. kept celebrating goals as they were beating the tar out of somebody in the World Cup yesterday.
You've been so proud of me because I resisted the urge to make it funny, but I realized it was too soon. About 13-point deficits. I didn't do it. No. I thought your brother was going to do it.
Oh, really?
He was
primed for it.
He seemed to be trolling some.
Okay. Whatever.
The U.S. women are really good at soccer, and the team that we were playing,
Thailand.
Yeah, I mean,
not good at soccer.
I don't think of Thailand as a soccer power.
I think the United States and France are by far the two best soccer teams in the world. I saw Jason McIntyre say yesterday that he knows some U.S. Team USA people who think that they are doing it to bring attention to the fact that they make so much less than the United States men's team.
Yeah.
And that they are essentially going to do this to everyone they play to make a point. That they are trying to rout every team they play.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
No, I mean, whatever. I mean,
the other team has a goalkeeper.
The Canadian analysts yesterday, the video was going around, were very pissed that they were still celebrating goals wildly, up 11-0, 12-0, whatever it was. But, you know, it's kind of like the Hurricanes teams from the 80s, like when Jimmy Johnson was like, hey, if you want us to not dance, don't let us get in the end zone. I mean, you know, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not big on the etiquette thing when it comes to that.
Whatever. I mean,
you've got a goalkeeper.
When you score to go up 13-0, and you do like this sliding kick thing on the field. I mean, it does look a little funny. Let's say, I mean,
you're clearly not the best sports in the world, but
we're not going to win the hospitality portion of the event when it's over.
I will say
that, but
it is the most unified that Twitter gets. Because we all love it when America just beats the shit out of somebody else. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's the most, like, when Bin Laden got killed, everybody was like, hell yeah, God bless America. Look at us. And we're killing Thailand, those poor Thai girls yesterday. And everybody's kind of like, yeah, take that. Yeah, how about that?
And going in, you go, they suck going in, right? Like, it was going to be whatever you wanted it to be.
I saw like 53rd minute. 54th minute, 55th minute.
Oh, the scoring log is tremendous.
It's hilarious. And everybody's kind of like, yeah. And then you see somebody go, you think maybe they've done enough? Nah, keep going.
Obviously, we have the utmost respect for everyone we play, but it is the World Cup, said team captain Rapino. Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, we really came into this game and really wanted to showcase ourselves and what we've been preparing for and what we've been working on. I think we did that. Every goal matters in this tournament, and that's what we were working on in this game. Now, I think your point differential is okay, though.
In fairness, it did appear that late in the game, when they were still scoring goals, they were practicing set pieces.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it was not, hey, it was not a full-scale blitzkrieg here.
They could have scored more.
Yeah, sure. Oh, they could have scored 20-something goals. They were practicing set pieces. They were having practice. They absolutely.
During a World Cup match.
Absolutely. You could see them set up a play.
Have we seen a possession number? Did they have possession 90% of this game?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
Once it got to about 20-0, I've sort of moved on.
Yeah. Because 13-0 in soccer, that's the equivalent of 150-0 in football.
Yeah, I have witnessed my son on the opposite end of that type of a beating.
And it is a beating,
And it is not a great mood in the truck afterwards.
The only other statement that came out on Ole Miss baseball related yesterday, Ryan Olenek thanking the fans. He obviously was a senior. He's hanging up the cleats. I think he told clubs not to take him, that he was done. Was finished with baseball for his career. So
respect that.
A really solid 4-year career for Ryan. Spark plug on numerous successful Ole Miss teams. So they've got another guy they got to replace. I mean, you're looking at that list, and offensively, when you talk about, okay, you got to get rid of, it's Olenek and Kessinger and Dillard and Zabowski. There's a lot there. So we'll have plenty of time to get into that as it goes. The Raiders are your Hard Knocks team this year for HBO.
I'll watch.
You want crazy. You get it with the Raiders always.
I mean, I don't want the Patriots on Hard Knocks.
Oh, it'd be boring. I mean,
no, give me crazy.
Give me the drama. Just alternate between the Raiders and the Bengals.
Yeah.
I'll take those two.
I mean, the teams that I'd like to see because I have interest. I'd obviously like to see the Bears. It'd be fun. I'd like to see the Saints because I think Sean Payton would be fun on something like Hard Knocks.
I don't think Sean Payton has any desire for Hard Knocks whatsoever. No.
And I'd like to see the Browns because the Browns are interesting.
The Browns are fun.
The Browns absolutely turn the dial. Like I did not get the package last year. I think I'm going to get it this year because there are enough teams that I'm interested in.
Okay.
I want to see the Browns.
And it keeps you from getting the Titans 16 times a year.
Yeah, and I have no interest in the Titans.
The Titans are very nondescript and boring to me.
Yeah, they are just vanilla. They
look like they just have blue and white uniforms on that say team across the front, and I go, okay, fine.
I'm interested in the Giants because yesterday the story in New York is about Eli Manning and what's the kid's name? Jones?
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. They're like, Eli's the starter, but we're getting Jones ready for week 1. Wait, what? Come again? Yeah, you heard me. Okay, well, but does that mean? Well, Eli's our starter, but we really like what we've seen out of Jones. We're getting him ready for week 1 to play. Well, yeah, get ready to play. So Eli, you're not pleased? No, he's been good. We know what Eli is, but we like the kid. Oh,
sounds really functional.
And dysfunction sells in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so, I'm interested in that. There's just a lot to be interested in. I think the league is going to be entertaining. Carson likes to watch the Chiefs. There's a lot there.
Story that I'm interested to read that I haven't, if y'all want a link for the day, it is on it's on the front of ESPN.com on the right-hand side. Draft heist of the century, how Mike Trout fell to the Angels. Keith Law talking to a bunch of people about that today.
Oh yeah, because the Angels either quit watching him, or they'd go and put the gun on somebody else. They'd put all their eyes on some other kid on that team.
Says Mike Trout might be the best player in MLB history, but he wasn't even seen as the best player in his own draft class or close to it. 10 years ago, he lasted until the Los Angeles Angels back-to-back picks at 24 and 25, meaning that 21 teams could have drafted Trout but passed. The Washington Nationals and Arizona Diamondbacks each picked twice before that. That has led to the chronic question of why the industry as a whole didn't realize Mike Trout was, in fact, Mike Trout when he was a 17-year-old high school senior. To find an answer, I went to the best sources possible. The scouts who saw him that spring, especially those who the Angels who were responsible for drafting and signing him. This is that story.
Oh, that sounds good.
So that's on the front of ESPN today. If you just want a link there.
Because they had targeted him for a while and still took him with the second of those 2 picks.
But at that point, you got to.
You got him. Yeah, at that moment, it had to be just the elation in that room.
If you believe me.
Well, they did.
They were right.
The scout that was insistent on him said he's a generational talent. And he is. He is something else.
So Thursday, 8 o'clock is Game 6? Yeah.
Yeah.
Back at Oracle.
Yeah. We could get 2 Game 7s this week.
It'd be fun.
Sure.
Like Game 7s.
Oh, an NBA Game 7 in Toronto would be great.
Surely they're going to pull this off.
I think. I'm just going to tell you, as someone who has watched his team be defeated by Steph Curry and Klay Thompson,
you're never counting them out.
They can make shots so fast and get on rolls so fast that they're terrifying. Do want to tell you that guests join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. I anticipate Jeffrey will join us tomorrow and do the I Told You So dance regarding Kevin Durant's Achilles. He will join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law, real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who handles your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. John Calvin Patterson, Wes Earhart, they're Ole Miss guys, they're local guys. When you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. If you think you have a legal issue, if you just have a legal issue that you kind of want to explore and have a conversation about, but you don't necessarily want to get all in, cool. Take advantage of being a podcast listener. Give them a call, 662-526-1992. That initial consultation is going to be free. You can learn more about them on their website, pelaws.com. And Father's Day is coming up Sunday. It's the perfect time to break up the monotony of boring Father's Day gifts with a pair of Mississippi-made Blue Delta jeans. Don't get Dad another tie. Get him a pair of jeans that you know he'll love. If you can't get him into the Oxford studio before then, email info@bluedeltajeans.com to purchase a gift card that Blue Delta can ship out to Dad for his big day. And speaking of coming to Oxford, Ole Miss orientation in full swing this month. If you're coming to town, this is the perfect time to drop into the studio, check out Blue Delta's raw denim and Holland and Sherry fabrics, as well as the new spring-summer collection and their new Tacticool camo pants. Listen, guys, you don't want to be the parents wearing poorly fitting jeans at orientation. You want to be the good-looking one for your kids. So the way to do that is to put on a pair of Blue Delta jeans today. It's BlueDeltaJeans.com, and again, info at BlueDeltaJeans.com to set up your own personal fitting.
So, let's see. I had a stat I was trying to find. This came from David O'Brien from the Athletic, who covers the Braves, about the Braves' home runs, and now I'm having a hard time locating it, which is annoying the crap out of me. So, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
And Austin Riley, man.
He's cooled off a little, but
well, he wasn't going to hit 500 for his career.
I know. I'm just saying. It did say tonight. I've got several here, including not one I found, but this is sort of interesting. Tonight marked the first time. This is last night in Atlanta franchise history. The Braves hit 2 pairs of back-to-back home runs in the same inning. Last Braves team to do it was Milwaukee versus the Cubs at Wrigley when Joe Torre and Felipe Alou, then Hank Aaron and Gene Oliver went back-to-back.
Huh.
So back-to-back twice in the same inning last night for the Braves.
Cubs hit 3 home runs in one inning at Coors the other day and still lost the game.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems bad.
This was the series that we were going to go see in Denver. I'm thankful we did not go.
No, he had some stat about how the Braves had hit at least 4 home runs in back-to-back games or something, and they'd only done that like 5 times in a decade or something, and they had done it twice in 2 days. But anyway, I can't find it. Did listen to a lot of the Braves Pirates on the way back from Fayetteville the other night, and our friend Ben Ingram doing a really, really good job on play-by-play for the Braves.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a hot take.
Okay. You have one, not 21 out.
No, I have one.
Okay.
Ole Miss yesterday got a commitment from Robert Scott. He's an offensive tackle from Conway, Arkansas. I've met Robert in person, and I've now spoken to Robert on the phone. Robert is and I don't say this about every kid, because some kids, quite frankly, the conversations, as you know, you've done these conversations too, they are remarkably difficult to get enough out of them to write a story. It's fine. They're kids. I don't ever hold it against them, but it is what it is. And you can't wait to get off the phone with the kid. You can't wait for signing day so that you can unfollow them on Twitter. You're done with them. Is that fair?
Yep.
Kids that go to Ole Miss, kids that go to everywhere else. It's just kids. Robert Scott is not one of those kids. Robert Scott is as good of a kid as you will ever meet. He is very polite. He is very, very nice. He is, at least strikes me, I don't know what his IQ is, what his ACT score is. He strikes me as an extremely intelligent person. I've talked to people at Ole Miss about him, and they say he checks every box, including all of the intangible boxes that sometimes the highest of 5 stars don't check. Because quite frankly, sometimes, guys, kids don't get offered because they're in a gang. Kids don't get offered because they're just bad. Good football players, not good people. And you don't got to be careful bringing too many of those to your campus. Robert Scott is not one of those kids. So this is directed at you, Arkansas fans. He's from Conway. He's the number 1 ranked player in the state. When you do things like tweeting, can't blame Robert Scott for committing to Ole Miss and taking the money. It's got to be tough being 45 with 6 kids while working 2 jobs and trying to graduate high school. Making fun of the fact that he looks older, he wears glasses, and doing the whole thing about Ole Miss pays kids. Stop. Don't tweet at kids when they make a decision. Leave them alone. You're a grown-up. They're a kid. Don't tweet at them. Unless it's to say, and even this is quasi-creepy, unless it's to say, hey, congratulations or good luck.
Story up with Mr. Scott at rebelgrove.com. If you are interested, it is there. We'll still have a little bit of baseball wrap up, frankly, with this group, not a lot. And then whatever else. We'll talk to Jeffrey tomorrow. We'll have podcasts to you the rest of the week, and then schedule gets a little spotty next week. Nothing on Monday for sure, and then we'll go from there. So talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day.